A wooden stick defeated Japan's fastest swordsman alive. How is that even possible? Japan has two legends. One is the fastest swordsman alive. The other is the greatest swordsman alive. 61 duels undefeated. Today they meet for the first time. The greatest arrives with a wooden sword he has just carved from a boat oar. He left his real swords at home. On purpose. The fight only lasts 2 seconds. To understand what is about to happen in those 2 seconds, you need to understand who these two men are. Sasaki Kojiro is Japan's fastest swordsman. His technique, Tsubame Gaeshi, the turning swallow cut, strikes twice before most swordsmen can respond once. His sword, the Mono Hoshizao, is 3 feet longer than any standard blade, giving him reach no opponent can get inside. He has never lost, not once. Miyamoto Musashi is Japan's greatest strategist with a blade. 61 duels, never defeated. He has fought with 2 swords, with 1 sword and an improvised weapon. He has studied warfare the way scholars study scripture. These are not 2 swordsmen, these are the 2 swordsmen. The duel at Funajima Island has been anticipated for years. And when the day finally arrives, when Japan's fastest swordsman stands on that island holding the finest blade money can acquire, Musashi steps off the boat carrying a wooden boat oar that he has been carving on the way over. The people watching assume it is arrogance. They are half right, but only half. Against the finest sword in Japan, a boat oar. Musashi arrives 3 hours after dawn. Kojiro has been waiting since first light. Kojiro looks at him, then at the oar sword, then back at him. He says, "You are late. Was it carelessness, or did you plan this? Either way, I find it cowardly. Taking advantage of your opponent's waiting, using time as a weapon before the sword is drawn. I know your methods, Musashi. Every account, every witness, I have prepared for this specifically. It will not serve you today. This is not bluster." Kojiro has genuinely studied Musashi. He has trained himself not to be moved by the late arrival. By every visible measure, he is not moved. Musashi keeps walking. Then he stops and takes a stance. Unexpected, asymmetric, nothing in it that Kojiro recognizes from everything he has studied. Musashi looks at Kojiro's hand, not his eyes, his hand, and says, "A man who has no more use for his scabbard has already decided how this ends. And a man who has decided how something ends cannot change when it goes differently." Kojiro looks at his scabbard. Then, perhaps to prove he is not controlled by the words, perhaps because 3 hours of waiting have built to exactly this, he draws his sword and throws the scabbard into the sea. Musashi watches it hit the water. He says, very quietly, "You have already lost." Then he looks away from Kojiro. He looks at the island, at the ground, the distance, the morning light, as if the conversation is over, as if it was over before it began. What Musashi said, "You have already lost," is not a taunt, it is a diagnosis, precise and clinical. The scabbard is not just a holder for a sword. It is the physical statement of, "I can stand down if I need to." A swordsman who throws his scabbard into the sea has closed a door in his own mind. He has locked himself into one outcome and removed his own ability to adapt. That is not strength. That is rigidity, and rigidity in a fight is the beginning of the end. Musashi looks away because the argument is genuinely over. There is nothing left to decide. Kojiro has just handed him the duel. So, Musashi won before the swords moved? Then what were the 2 seconds for? Here is what was happening underneath the conversation. The battle Kojiro couldn't see. The 3 hours on the boat, carving the oar, were not for Kojiro. They were for Musashi, not rehearsal. The opposite. Musashi is releasing the duel before it begins. Every calculation, every anticipated move, every thought about the oar in his hands, emptied into the water behind the boat. By the time he steps onto that island, the thinking is finished, not suppressed, done. His body is here. His mind has already gone somewhere quiet. You are Kojiro. You have trained for 30 years. You have never lost. You arrived on time. You have the better sword. You know his tactics. You studied them. You are not rattled. And yet, standing on this island, watching a man set down a boat oar and look at the horizon instead of at you, something in you already knows. What is that feeling? And why does preparation not make it go away? The feeling Kojiro has, the dread that preparation cannot reach. has a name in Japanese martial tradition. It is Mushin. No mind, but not in the way Kojiro experiences it. For Kojiro, Mushin is the absence he is trying to achieve, and cannot. For Musashi, it is what happens when the mind finally stops protecting the sword. The mind must not be caught by the sword. The moment the mind is caught, thinking about the sword, protecting the sword, afraid of losing the sword, you are already slower than a mind that is free. Translation: the moment you start worrying about what you might lose, you have already given away the fraction of a second that decides everything. Here is the trap every great swordsman eventually faces. The better the sword, the more the mind protects it. The more the mind protects, the less free the body is. And a body that is not completely free is slower, not by much, by exactly enough. Kojiro's Monohoshizao is 30 years of his life. His identity lives in that sword. In the nanosecond before the Tsubame Gaeshi, some part of his mind is already protecting what that sword means, and that part is the part he has not trained out of himself. Musashi is holding a boat oar he carved 2 hours ago. No history, no identity, nothing to protect. Here is what happens inside those 2 seconds, not from outside, from inside. You are Musashi. Kojiro draws. The Tsubame Gaeshi begins. The technique that has never been defended. 30 years of mastery moving toward you at full speed. Your mind does not arrive to process it. No thought is forming, no calculation running. 3 years of preparation are already responding, faster than a thought could form, because no thought is asked for. Your body moves. The oar moves with it. The oar is the same reach as the Monohoshizao. Lighter, in the fraction of a second between stimulus and response. Lighter is faster. The Tsubame Gaeshi, built to defeat a swordsman who is thinking, meets a body that is not thinking. It meets nothing it was designed to defeat. 2 seconds. The oar connects. Kojiro falls. Musashi wins in 2 seconds. Then he does something nobody expects. He does not celebrate. He stands over Kojiro, Japan's fastest swordsman, a man of genuine greatness. And what witnesses describe is not satisfaction. It is sorrow. He has just watched the finest swordsman alive be destroyed by his own attachment. 30 years of mastery, undone not by a better swordsman, but by the inability to put down what those 30 years had built. Musashi leaves Funajima and never fights another serious duel. More than 60 victories. He puts the sword down. He says later he was afraid, not of losing, but of what winning kept requiring him to become. A man attached to his record, to his reputation, to the blade that represented both. He has seen what that looks like in Kojiro. He has no interest in becoming it. 33 years after Funajima, Musashi sits alone in a cave and writes everything he has learned. Not about swords, about the mind that holds the sword. He calls it Go Rin No Sho, the Book of 5 Rings. He writes it in 5 days. He is 60 years old. Do not think dishonestly. The way is in training. Become acquainted with every art. Know the ways of all professions. Distinguish between gain and loss in worldly matters. Develop intuitive judgment and understanding for everything. Perceive those things which cannot be seen. Translation: train deeply and honestly, then stop reviewing the training and let it become you. The goal is not to be good. The goal is to stop needing to check if you are. The fastest swordsman in Japan was defeated by a piece of boatwood. The greatest swordsman in Japan responded to this by retiring and writing philosophy in a cave. History has produced stranger outcomes, but not many. He puts down the sword that won 61 duels. He picks up a brush, because the real teaching was never about the sword. It was about the mind that chose the oar. Now, you have a sword problem, not a weapon. The precious things you carry into your most important moments that your mind spends the whole time protecting instead of moving. Your reputation in the meeting where you need to say something uncomfortable. Your carefully constructed plan when the situation has changed and you need to improvise. Your self-image as someone competent when something has gone wrong and you need to recover without panic. These are your swords, hard-won, representing years of work. And in the moments that matter, they slow you down by exactly enough. You don't need to stop caring about them. You need to understand where they actually live. Not in the reputation, not in the plan, not in the image. In you. The years of work, the things learned the hard way, None of that disappears under pressure. It goes deeper, into the reflex, into the part that moves before the thought forms. The preparation is already there. It does not need to be held. This week, before your next high-pressure moment, spend 5 minutes doing the opposite of rehearsing. Sit with what you have prepared. Then let it go. Trust that it went into the body. Stop reviewing it. Musashi spent 3 hours on a boat doing this. You have 5 minutes. It is the same practice, the same direction, the same instruction. Stop thinking. You already know. Your preparation is already the right length. Already shaped, already in your hands. You are the oar. You just have to stop holding it like it might break. He does not arrive with an oar because he has no sword. He arrives with an oar because a man who has nothing to lose moves differently than a man who has everything to protect. The preparation does not disappear when the moment arrives. It goes somewhere deeper, into the body, into the reflex, into the part of you that acts before the thought forms. It is already there. It has always been there. The only thing that ever blocked it was you, standing in your own way, asking if you were ready. You are ready. You have been ready. Stop asking. Start moving. Thank you for watching. Now I want to hear from you. What is the thing you are holding so tightly in your most important moments that it is making you careful when you need to be free? Drop your answer in the comments section. And if you are new here, hit the subscribe button and check our next video. It will help our channel a lot. Thanks, and see you in the next video.